Hi, and welcome to The Way of Conscious Mindfulness. I am Sifu Boggie. Nice to meet you. And again, welcome to the show. Now, what is the Way of Conscious Mindfulness? I hear you ask. Well, it is a weekly, sometimes more than weekly, podcast and Facebook Live show discussing spirituality with science, balancing health and well-being with mind, body and spirit with a Daoist twist, Daoist flavour. What does the Dao mean? The Dao means the way, the path, the balance. Now, surprise, surprise, we are not the normal talk show. Each week we have either a subject or, as we have today, we have a very wonderful guest. And our aim is to have an open discussion to help us all find new skills, new techniques, new ways to balance our very own personal Dao way or path. So, as I said, we have a guest. We have a very wonderful guest, and it was I've got to admit, I think it was 3 days ago that we arranged this. I think it was the beginning of the week. I suddenly realised that I had no guest or had a free Sunday, and I thought, oh, blimey, I've missed a show opportunity here. And I asked the wonderful Anjesh, and the Way of Conscious Mindfulness guest hunter. She is the guest hunter for our show. One of the guest hunters. The other one is Janine Brockaway. And if by magic you should appear. So, good evening, Natalie. How are you doing, firstly?
Hello. I'm really excited about it. Yes, I can hear you. Thank you for inviting me along.
Cool. It's more than welcome. More than welcome indeed. So, this is the way. Well, I'll say your full name once. This is the Way of NatalieHaperHegarty, and the subtitle is The Way of Dealing with Toxic Relationships Using Future Life Techniques. But we'll get to that later. So, firstly, that ultimate question, the question that fears some of my guests and other guests lap it up. My ultimate, as she gulps, the ultimate question, the Boggie question. And it's easy enough, he says. It's simple. The question is, Natalie, the show is The Way of Natalie. So, Natalie, what is your way? What is your Dao?
My Dao, that's a good question, because you've only just asked me to think about that. It's helping people recover after they've gone through, especially toxic relationships. That's my forte, having lived a life of on and off toxic relationships. So when you've lived through something and you've experienced it, it puts you in a good place to help other people come out the other side, using all the skills and things that I've learned. Yeah.
But I love the old...
There's lots of others, the way of cake, the way of tea, that kind of way. But for tonight, it's the way of recovering from toxic relationships.
Well, that's also the title of the show. So it's a good way. It's a good Dao. So there is this thing that a healer, the best sort of healer, are healers that needed healing themselves. The best sort of fighters to fight, to teach others, are people who were fighters. It's that being in that situation yourself, you're the best person, you're the most experienced person in that way, because you've been there.
It gives you a good understanding of what other people are going through, but also all my life you pick things up as you go along anyway. You learn as you go through on your journey. So you just join other people for part of their journey and help them get on their way the same way I got on mine to get out the other side.
Cool. Okay, we just want to check something. We've got Fred. Fred is saying that he can see us, but there is no sound. Fred, quickly message back. Is that still the case? Can you not, or anybody else? There are at least 3 other people watching. Can somebody message that you can hear us, because you should be able to hear us fine? So can somebody just check back, please, that you can hear us? Anybody? Testing, 1, 2, 3. Can somebody just quickly check? Right. Oh, right. Yep. So Matt Gilbert saying sound is fine. Awesome. Thank you, Matt. You are awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Right. We'll carry on then. So yes. So how did this all start? If I may ask, how did this all start for you?
Well, I've led quite a spiritual life, I suppose, so that's all part of my journey. But I think it comes to the realisation when you're nearly 50 and you've had a lot of similar life experiences and you kind of begin to think, right, there's a pattern forming here. So it's all about breaking those bad patterns. So I got to a stage in my life a few years ago where I knew I needed to make lots of changes, and that brought me to where I am. And that's one of our straplines, they're great until they're not. So get over it and get on with it, because nobody wants to stay stuck forever. And that was my philosophy, really. Don't stay stuck. You could stay in the same place forever. You're not living a life. You're just existing, and nobody wants to just exist. We all want to live a really good, happy, joyous life. Well, as joyous as possible.
Yeah. No, 100%. There's an old Daoist saying of your first aim is learn to survive. Then once you've learned how to survive, you must learn to thrive. So the whole idea is that once you know your basic skills, you know how to cook, or you know to hunt, you know how to get the food. That's great, but there has to be a point where you go past that. And it's interesting in society where I think a lot of people are still on survival. They're still, or survive. Society seems to encourage you to survive, but it doesn't necessarily encourage you past that. Education and whatnot. It seems to be set up, for you to get to that first level, but not necessarily to the next. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it encourages you to stay stuck a lot of the time, like insular, and not expand like your awareness and your knowledge and your growth and your learning. And I think that's what life's all about. You have to learn, and if by learning through having bad experiences is a difficult way to learn, at least you're getting somewhere and you're not staying where you are, repeating patterns and carrying on making those kind of mistakes, like relationship mistakes or any other mistake, really.
Indeed. So I mean, okay, so that's how you saw. So what was it that got you onto this path of future life techniques? How did you?
Well, it goes back a long way. When I was a child, growing up, my 70s, my mum was really into tarot cards and reading the cards. So that was like the future, kind of, looking into the future back then. And when she died in 2016, I inherited her cards and used them. So when I got older, I learned to read cards, developed my interest in looking to the future. And from that, I learned to do Reiki. You can send Reiki through time and space, so therefore there's no constraints on time and space. And I saw Anne on television, Anne Jersh, who does the future life progression, a few years ago, and I decided I really wanted to train in that. Something about it just felt right to me. It just kind of married everything that I'd already been doing together. So when I went on that, and that was kind of what put me on the path to what I'm doing now with the relationship recovery, because at the time I was in a bad marriage just about 4 years ago, and I just couldn't see a way out. I was stuck in that marriage, and the future life progression was what helped me to see where I was then 5 years into the future and beyond. And that's what gave me that incentive, right? I don't have to stay stuck here. You identify with the best possible, a future version of you, and all of a sudden where you are doesn't seem to matter anymore as where you're going to go and be. And that's what did it for me. And after doing the future life training, I did other training, and it just seemed to fit in that this was the right thing for me to do by helping people identify with that hope when they feel that they haven't got any.
Okay.
Does that answer Matt's question?
Yeah, I think so. Well, where does it fit in? I think we sort of. So, what are the techniques for future life? Future life techniques. How does Nurse to tell us a little bit of the secrets. How does it work? Let's say
it works in such a way that you're being taken on like a guided imagery journey. So you're getting in touch with the deeper part yourself, the deeper parts of your mind, that has no constraints through time and space, the way I see it, the way I've seen it through doing the cards, where you can identify with a time in the future, or through Reiki you can send healing through time and space. To me, it just makes sense that you can connect with you through time and space into the future. So for me, it's like identifying with that part of myself, say in 5 years' time, or helping other people to do that by taking them on journeys, because I do take them on many journeys as well when they feel stuck or they want to know what's going to happen. So by identifying with that and building that image up, exploring different opportunities and avenues and things, you just are able to bring that feeling, because it is a feeling that you're getting in touch with, and being able to bring it back into the here and now, which obviously changes your future for the better by anchoring those things within you now. I just love it. It's one of my absolute passions in life, is being able to talk to that part of your mind, knowing that what you're seeing is actually going to happen in the future. A bit like, because I'm quite a visual person anyway from reading the cards, I'm very able to see things, which is lovely.
That is. So, I mean, so you're saying, just sort of like delving in a little bit more for people. And again, anybody listening, if you've got any questions, ask, and I will ask them for you. So, is it like hypnosis? Is it more of, is it just more suggestion?
It's similar to hypnosis. You're taking someone on a guided journey, so therefore you are guiding them with things that they want to know. This is how I do it anyway. They have an idea of what they want to look at, so you can work from that with their answers. So you are getting them to relax, and it is like a very gentle, it's not a deep hypnosis technique. It depends how far and how deep you want to go. It is like a guided imagery journey, but you're being guided by someone, and you're able to give the person guiding you the answers. And from that, so long as the person is very good at what they're doing, they're able to like tune in and take you further into that journey.
So is it like a question and answer? So like you would say, where are you?
Yeah, say you want to go and look at something. I can give you examples of 2016. I wanted to know where I was going to be living in the future, and at the time, working with friends, do swap things, or you can do it yourself and record yourself just to see where you're going to be living. And I took myself up and out of where I was, looked at where I was going to be living in the future, and it took that element of doubt away, so you can see the house. And it was actually the house that I'm actually living in now. I described the red bricks, the red pointy porch over the door as you go in, the red pointy windows at the roof, a pattern of bricks around the middle, and where it was with an S in the middle of the name. So if you're guided in the right way by your FLP practitioner, you're able to get a lot of information out of it, and it takes a lot of the worry and the doubt away as well if you're quite a worrier, because it does give you that hope and that optimism as well, especially like if you're stuck in a relationship that you don't want to be in and you think you're never going to see a way out. It gave me that hope as well to find a way out. And as well, another thing I've realised is if your future self is telling you now some good advice, and you listen, because that is the best advice that you could ever have.
Yeah, very much. I mean, yeah, it's interesting how obviously you get skeptics, people. Oh, I don't believe in this. But when you've got when you in science itself, they're saying that. They're finding, the evidence between past, future, and present, is quantumly, there is no difference, and information can pass simultaneously. So technically, there's nothing stopping, past information being go back, or present information going forwards. So it's it starts, even when quantum physics starts saying, it's possible. We don't like it, but it's possible. And
it totally is possible. Totally, yeah. It's the one thing that helped. Yeah, it's the one thing that helped me get to where I am now. Anyway, doing the things that I do and the things that I really enjoy doing. Yeah, all thanks to Anne, bless her heart.
Good old Anne. Good,
Yeah.
good old Anne. Yeah. So yeah. I mean, yeah. This is the point. Is that, and the whole point. In Eastern philosophy, in Daoist and Shaolin and Samurai, is that everything you do enhances everything else you do. So anything is a benefit. Anything that you can use as a tool to benefit you is however crazy it seems to anybody else is irrelevant. Is if it works for you, that's all that matters. And,
Yeah,
that's,
if you believe it's true, then it's true. If you believe it isn't, then it isn't. It is a lot to do with your mindset, exactly. Yeah, but FLP, it does work. Yeah, it just gets you in touch with that bit of yourself that's wherever it is in the cosmos in the future, and just brings it all back. It's lovely.
Indeed. So what sorts of clients have you had with this? What's the is it more is it like business people, or is it just a certain type of person, sort of just like worrying about what's happening now?
Everybody, people are always inquisitive, I think, to find out how it works. I've run workshops and done events and things, so a variety of people have come along, just out of curiosity, a lot of them. University students, I've worked with university students, and I love it how everybody sees things in a different way, because obviously you work with someone's dominant sense, because that's how they pick up their information and it relates to them. And the university student I worked with, bless her, she saw the words like, when you have a doctor's surgery with the pixel like red LED thing with your name that comes up, she saw everything as words and was just reading it as it went along. Other people see things, other people feel things, other people know things, so you're working with that person's dominant sense as well. So it's everybody can benefit from it, and I think because I can use it in so many ways, it just fits in with other therapies like the relationship rescue. It works very, very well with that. Runs alongside that. It runs alongside with a lot of other things, really. And anybody can benefit from it.
Can I actually ask, so what is, you said relationship rescue, so what is that?
Well, relationship recovery, it's partly, the toxic relationship element of that is when you've been through a toxic relationship, it doesn't have to be an ex-partner, it can be a work colleague, an employer, tutor, teacher, siblings, family members, in-laws, just anybody, including an ex-partner, just something when you come out of a relationship that just leaves you feeling really confused, like what on earth happened, and you just want to find your feet again, and all you can think about is this relationship that's going round and round and round in your head. Where did it go wrong? What did I do? And you tie yourself up in knots. So I deal with the aftermath of that when people have gone through that and they're feeling really confused. And relationship rescue is just 3 sessions of like using the blueprint training, which I've gone through as well, training for relationship recovery, and it's like 3 sessions to it, and basically you're resetting somebody to their original blueprint. So if you're thinking of a thing or something, it has a blueprint, and that's the original shape, size, structure and everything of that building before people started adding windows and doors and things went wrong. It's taking you back to your original, unfettered, uncluttered self, really. So that's what that works on, without having to even relive any of like the emotional traumas or anything like that. You don't have to revisit any of that that's already upsetting you. It's just a way of like resetting your mindset and just basically clearing out all the emotional debris, so you get back to a clear, unfettered version of you. And along with the FLP with that as well, because after a toxic relationship, you're often left feeling confused, you doubt your own judgment, and you're just in a state of like, what on earth happened? And I've been there, believe me. It's really, really good with the FLP to help you be able to identify with the person in the future who is not scared of making their own decisions, trusts their own judgment, is basically living a happy and better life. So you can identify with that and bring it back. So all these things work really well in conjunction with each other.
Cool. Okay. I'm going to throw a curveball here. Has anybody ever got you? So like has anybody ever wanted to go back to the past and sort of deal with the past rather than going forwards? And can you or should you?
I think you can, but you don't have to relive it. You can just say you're going back you can sometimes like rewrite things as well, because I think a lot of how we are is like on a subconscious level. Obviously, like we operate at 90 to 95% of how we are and our responses are from our subconscious mind. And a lot of how these things develop is up until like the age of 7, when you're in your hypnagogic state. I'm not very good with pronouncing that properly, but that's like the mindset that you live in, which is like a trance-like state. So as a child, if you've experienced, it's also like trauma bonding, like with your parents, if they've not shown you much love and attention, or they've given the like punishment reward cycle, then you're constantly seeking like their attention and their approval. So your emotional kind of setting or programming can be triggered as well by toxic relationships in the future, just because that's how you were when you were growing up until the age of 7. So a lot of people that I see have experienced that. So as well, by going backwards, sometimes it's like to do, I like to make things fun and a little journey. So you're going back to meet that childhood version of you, and you turn it into something, and you make friends with it, and you show it how your life should actually be now. Well, actually that was wrong. You know, you don't want your life to be like that now. So you can make friends with it. You can turn it into anything, like one of them big purple balls or something, and give it big feet and walk along with it on a guided journey. And and then you can do it that way. You don't have to relive any of the trauma. You can turn it into a much better way, and communicate with that little part of yourself by turning it, objectifying it, and turning it into something else, and showing it how life should be, and then bringing that back with you into the present and taking it into the future. And then you can identify in the future as well those changes that you've made. So there's lots of things you can do, going backwards and forwards. Life is a journey. It is a journey. So
very much so. I mean, also, maybe for people who know it is, I will explain. But the systems used are the same systems in NLP, which is neuro linguistic programming. So using things to reshape, to reframe the mind, and to take away the fear, or the fear, the negativity, the terror from something, is like you're saying, give it purple feet, or is the whole point. You can reshape stuff. So if somebody sees something negative, you can readapt that. In Daoism, they call that turning cha, which is negativity, stress, worry, turning cha into chi. So it's like turning poop into manure and manure into flowers.
Yeah, we all need some good chi, and some nice flowers.
Yes, flowers are good, and so is chi. So So okay. So another curveball, possibly. So how far into the future do you go, or is there a limit?
I don't need to go far when I do relationship recovery. It's just enough to get someone in tune with how they want their life to be, and making sure that they're fully immersed in that before I bring them back to the present. But you can, this is what I love about it. When I've done mind body shows, and I've done like talks and events and things, and had a lot of people in a room, because some people don't want to go forwards in this lifetime, I could take them to a future lifetime. So we've gone on future journeys, centuries into the future, and I've just found that really fascinating when people have connected with a future them, and the world's different, the different colours, they're wearing different clothes, they're floating, they're amphibious, or they're mermaids or something. And what I've liked as well is when I've spoken to people afterwards, when people who don't even know each other have seen exactly the same things, they just love that. So that is one of my favourite things to do, is to take people to beyond this lifetime, to connect to something way beyond anything they could imagine, really. But in a way, that can help too, by identifying with a you that is far removed from this lifetime as well. They're often able to accept the information that they get so far removed that it gives that less, their conscious mind a chance to kind of be subjective about things or interfere with it. So I love doing that one.
I mean, there's this big old, Taoism and Buddhism, especially, Hinduism as well. They're very much about past lives, and the whole, that basically that point of view, the ancient knowledge point of view, is that your consciousness, let's say consciousness, your consciousness is immortal, and you go from lifetime to lifetime to lifetime. Now, obviously, scientifically, always bring the science with spirituality. Science say there isn't any evidence. But if you actually look, there are case studies in India, there are case studies in China, there are now built up case studies in Africa where they actually have confined people who said, I lived, so in regression, so past lives, I lived in the village 70 miles away. So they go to that village 70 miles away and they find people who knew that person, and this like 4-year-old, 5-year-old child are saying, yes, my name was Bob and I lived in the cougar household, and they go and see the cougars and they go, yes, Bob looked like this and Bob looked, and there's actually there's thousands, I think they're into the hundreds now, but for Africa, especially Africa, China, and India, there are thousands upon thousands of these case studies now where they're saying, there's this evidence to show. So there is this evidence, obviously.
Yeah, I think science is beginning to catch up, though, isn't it, in a way, because they've gone on about your ancestral DNA and all
Yes.
being linked with that. So, that's something that, travels through generations, along with that element of consciousness as well. It does make sense. Well, and like the collective, unconscious, consciousness and everything, of course, we're all connected. So that's why I believe we can tap into any part of that at any time.
Well, the whole, there's two things here. Firstly, what science back in 1920, they came up with the field that basically there's this invisible energy that connects all of us, because they were trying to explain when they split an atom and sent it 14 miles in 7 miles each in different directions, they irritated or tickled one part of the atom and it was reacting, and they didn't know why, and basically came up with the field. And then, as you said, there's what they're saying at the moment is that your DNA, that information, memories can be stored within the DNA. So they're trying to say, oh no, it's not reincarnation. You just remember this because it's in your DNA cycles. So that's what mainstream is pushing for the moment. But like I say, with Buddhism, Taoism.
There is a past lives. I do believe in those. I think you can meet someone, like you're saying, and then you just recognize them from like a past life. You can have like your past life regression done, and then you realize, oh, this person, and this person, and did actually know them way back when in whatever century. And the thing with past life is you can go and investigate it as well. Not that obviously there's not always records, is there? But you can, if you want to, go and have a look and check that things, correlate in a certain fashion. And also, of course, past life relationships, if you're having trouble in this lifetime, it might come from a past lifetime, and then you can sort all that out with the relationship recovery too, and then move on and be happy.
Indeed. And then go and have a play in the future as well. So that's
definitely. I like playing in the
future. It is good. It is good. Okay, right. So let's see. There isn't anybody else? Any other questions? Is there anything else that what else you would? Is there anything else that you want to add or want to bring up?
I think to do with the toxic relationship recovery that I do, obviously the people who go through these things are very kind, open, honest, generous, loving and giving people, and give so much of themselves, and get treated quite badly. Obviously I explained the trauma bonding thing as well, where you first meet someone and they're all love bombing you, and that's everybody wants to find true love. That's like your part in the whole universe, isn't it? That's the connectedness, is just through love and relationships, and that's what everybody wants. So the trauma bonding thing is like the punishment reward, but it's like the hormones that are released in your brain as well, dopamine, and then the cortisol, and that endless cycle of up and down, triggered from childhood. That's what you're used to. Not always, because obviously there's certain patterns that you get stuck in your life that you need to get out of. So, and obviously with me as well, attracting quite a few of them, I had good experience, but I know people who've had counselling, that might help them. But for me personally, don't want to relive it, want to sort it out and move on and get on with my life, especially as I'm nearly 50. It's like half my life's over. So I've got to get on and enjoy it now. So yeah, it's all about resetting you again, really, with whatever techniques, resonate. And I think a lot of people want to get over things without reliving things. And what I do now just resonates so much with me. I'm just very passionate about that, and the fact that I can use the future life progression in it as well, which is my absolute joy. Really, it really is. Good old Dan.
Yeah, I can tell there's that twinkle in your eye. You definitely, that's definitely your. I mean, have you got any ideas for the future? It is obviously, because this is, something really strong to your heart, the toxic relationships. What's the, are there any other avenues in the future? Is there anything else that you would sort of also do, or is this your main focus, using, these techniques?
Well, there's many things. To me, it's about anybody who's stuck, not just relationships. We can all get to a point in our lives where we just feel stuck. I mean, just don't think we're ever going to identify, with our life being any different. So it's good for anybody who feels stuck in any situation. From a healing point of view, I mean, after I did the FRP, I went on and I learned lots of other things: emotional freedom therapy, pain removal, just things that I knew would help me, so I could use them to help other people. But it's all connecting you with that part of yourself, and also that non-attachment part as well, that bit of you that's really frustrated, that wants everything yesterday and you can't have it yesterday, and then that helps keep you stuck as well, which is not a good place to be. So it's patience, by connecting with the future, it takes that, that frustration out of things as well. And then you can live and lead a bit more of a chilled life as well, and just let go and just, get back to being who you were before all the toxic stuff happened. I think that's important.
Yeah. It's I can see where it'll be very much like a sign, a signpost or reassurance. Is that we go through this process and you just says, this is what's, this is the direction, this is what's going to happen, and then you can chill, because the biggest thing that people don't do is all the worry. And one of the Daoist sayings is that unless you've got a time machine or you're a future life techniques person, you can't see the future. You can't, so there's no point worrying about the future, because you can't. It's not here yet. You can't do anything about it. And the whole point, in the Daoist point of view, is that you shouldn't worry anyway, because worry equals tension. Tension equals illness. Illness eventually equals death. So don't worry, because it'll kill you. So it's this whole thing of.
Yeah, stress has such a bad effect on the body. It's not just like an emotional thing. It has like physical manifestations as well, like rashes, vitamin deficiencies, heart problems, all manner of things really, that it can manifest in. And nobody, wants to live a life like that. And quite often I don't think people even realise they're in a stressful situation, or that they've even been in a toxic relationship with someone, until you actually sit down and talk to them about, or just tell them, well, there's pointers and indications. They might not even realise that their stress has been caused by being in that relationship with someone. And because you're like a happy, jolly, bubbly person, either different people are toxic, like we say, not just family members, work colleagues, ex-partners, and they themselves probably have some kind of, what's the word do I put it, some kind of personality problem themselves that stems from their own childhoods, which makes them feel attracted to you, and vice versa. So there's all that, again, that different connection going on. So you have to recognise within you what it is that makes you so attractive to these people, and stop it from happening again. Obviously, I can point this out to people when I do workshops and events, point and don't let this happen again. But I think once they've gone through the relationship recovery sessions and had some FRP, already identified with how they are in the future, so it's less likely that they would let that happen to them again. Clear the way, get in touch with their real essence, their real self.
Indeed. I mean, there's a book for me that sort of helps or sort of guides with this whole, you know, these emotional types or emotional techniques. What I mean is, there's a book called Celestine Prophecies. I don't know if you've ever read.
Yeah, I've read those. Yeah,
and you've got the 4 plays. You know, you've got the aloof, you've got the interrogator, you've got the intimidator, you've got poor me. And this book, you know, so I mean, originally it was a story, and they also had what do they call it? The experimentation book. So you had a book like a workshop book, and the whole point, these 4 plays, in essence, that when people are not connected to divine source, when people are not, or you know, they're not secure in their own selves, what happens is they tend to be one of these 4 plays. So you know, poor me is, oh, you know, oh, my life is so bad, and it's so this and it's so that. Or interrogator is that you should do it this way, Natalie, you shouldn't do it like that, you should do it like this. Or well, actually that's intimidator. Interrogator is, why are you doing it like that? Well, you know, why is it that way? Why is it that way? Very much the old Harry Enfield character. Oh, you shouldn't do it like that. You should do it like this. And then you've got the aloof. You know, the aloof. How are you today, Boggie? What's up? What's about? You know, digging more, and that's the issue. I mean, it is. I love that book, and I always come back to that book because I see those people running those plays. You know, either 1 or 2 or all of them, and it's this thing, like Daoistically is they say about this: when you're plugged into the universe, you know, you don't need the energy of other people. But when you're not plugged in, you attack people, or you argue with people, or you know, you question them to drain their energy, to gain energy. And this whole thing of energy vampires, you know, is that when people are not connected to whatever you call that connection, they tend to do this thing of, you know, draining each other. So I mean, for me, that's also part of this toxic relationship where people they're not secure. An easy way of saying it, to me, it's you're not connected to the Tao, but a more, you know, a more.
I think a lot of it is that if you're obviously if it's a subconscious trigger, it stems to your childhood, and that needs sorting out. As you get older, it's obviously become a pattern, and like you say, you're not or in sync with the universe. A lot of, like, because obviously I meditate a lot, and that connects you to the universe and your connectedness to everything. In a way, so I do agree with you. It does help, and your connectedness to your universe is in your head, isn't it? So when I'm doing,
you don't have to agree with me. You really don't. You know,
when you're doing all the, you know, this like relationship work and any other work like that, what you're getting in contact with is your real you, your deeper mind, which is connected to all the knowledge and wisdom that you will ever need, because it's the right knowledge and wisdom for you. So yeah, do work as well as on a practical level, on a very, well, spiritual, I suppose, because of the other things that I do, because it is all connected. Everything is. And I think when you're intuitive, you can tune into that energy field of somebody anyway.
Well, when I want to be an annoying Daoist, I just say all is one, and one is all. But see, there's this classic thing. How do I put this? There's this classic thing that my teachers used to say is that, you know, like we're for example, you know, we're talking about like using future life techniques, and you know, so you know, going into the future and seeing stuff in the future, or like you said, even going even further into other lives, and there's this Taoist thing that society is the way it is because it's lost its memory. And what it means is that because it is not connected with the universe, and because it only sees this life, and this is the only life it sees, and it can't see into the future, or it can't see into the past, if the Taoist point of view is that if everybody could naturally see into the future, if everybody could naturally see, you know, not the nitty gritties of how they get there, but this is where you're going to, this is your goalpost. This is where you go. This is your goal. Or, you know, after this life, there's another life, and after that life, there's another life, and after that life, there's a.
But not all of us come back because we've learned our lessons. So I think life's about learning stuff.
Exactly. You get me off of my little tangent of this is not the only planet. You know, there's plenty of other planets out there. You know, we are. But the whole point is that when you stop seeing life in a linear way, or if people start to see there is a future, there is a, you know, death isn't the ultimate thing. You know, there's something else, and there's something else. You could say it's heaven, you could say it's another life. You know, being a little bit naughty. Christianity used to originally believe in past lives, and that was taken out of the Bible. You know, they believed in reincarnation. So other religions sort of have this point of view. But if you knew that this isn't necessarily the end, and there are other things forward, would you act differently? You know, would you be so fearful? Would you be so scared if you knew that you actually control your own future, that your fear can slow you down and your excitement and your love can speed things up? Would you
fear,
be, you know?
Yeah. Fear does slow you down. It definitely does. And I think by connecting to that hope and that optimism, you can bring that back, and it takes, like you're saying, the worry and the stress away, so you can not just exist, but like live and actually enjoy life, no matter what's coming in a future lifetime. But it's connected with that energy, and like we're all energy, aren't we? We all feel energy. We either feel happy, or we feel sad, or feel scared, or, you know, trepidation, anything. So, you know, connecting with like your own energy in relation to the universal energy, you know, it's like plugging yourself in, isn't it? Really, I'm running out of energy. You know, like a battery, phone charge, or plug it in. We're a bit the same. Go plug yourself in. You know, get your wisdom from your higher self, your higher wisdom that's come from the future or the past, and bring it into the here and now.
Indeed. Right, we've got, I think it's more of a statement than a question, but so we've got JJ. Hello, JJ, how you doing? Saying, walking or out in the countryside part of nature, why when you come back you feel 200% better than when you first went? Because our lives are artificial. We live lives not how it should be. Have you got...
because you're connecting with a broader perspective, aren't you? It's like the planet, you know, when you're inside, it's like it is an artificial environment, isn't it? You know, we're meant to be outside connecting to like Mother Earth and Father Sky, put it that way, like the whole, you know, universal connection, you know, and the positive ions, positive energy, why people feel better when they go to the seaside. You know, it is all to do with that energy that you're picking up on, fresh air. You know, people aren't meant to live in little brick boxes, are they? You know, we're meant to have that connection to outside, and we do lose that connection as well. But it's so important to, you know, unplug yourself, you know, from all this stuff, and plug yourself in outside. You know, that's what I think too. Yeah,
that universe, you know, call it what you want, but you know, going outside, that it helps clear out that char and drawing more chi. You know what is real. Well, you know, the whole metaphysical, the whole quantum physics. This is real. This is real.
Yeah.
This is real. This is, you know, now, the moment of now, and the whole point is you live in. You know, you can do three things. You can live in the now. You can live in the future. You can live in the past. You know, going to viewing the future and being aware that this is your goal. That's what, you know. Can you set this up? Yes, we can do that. That's awesome.
You can bring it in sooner as well. You can bring all those feelings into your life sooner and start doing the things you saw yourself doing in the future right now. Well, what's stopping me? Most of what stops people is their own self-doubt and, you know, their own fears and everything. And if they only overcame those, you know, they could achieve so much more in life. We're terrible procrastinators, aren't we? We need to stop doing that, really, and just get on with living and enjoying life.
Oh, very much, yeah, because it's all about flow. You know, it's you know, if it wasn't called the way of conscious mindfulness, it'd be going with the chi flow. But that's another show actually that I do. But,
I was told once that go in with the flow, only dead fish go with the flow, but the chi flow is your energy flow, so that's different. Yeah, don't be a dead fish.
No, well, there's an old Chinese saying that a fish saved my life once, and as a student you're supposed to say how Sifu, and then the Sifu says I ate it. Is the whole point of, is that everything everything has an ebb and flow, everything has a cycle, and you go with that flow, but it's about living in the now. Is that everything that's important is here right now, and then when new stuff comes, that's right important right now. The past is irrelevant. The past is gone. The future hasn't happened yet. It's this now that's important. But as you say, with using future life techniques, is that you can see that goal, and like you said, which is one of the keys to manifestation. When you're focusing on that goal, but focusing as you've already got it, so you see it as it's already here, a little bit like fake it to make it, but the whole idea of, that's what's going to happen, I'm gonna have this, it's going to be awesome, and it's right here right now, it's so it's there, and you draw it quicker to you. When you see everything, in 10 years this will happen, in 10 years it will always stay 10 years away, but you draw it to you, you get those feelings, you see it, you feel it, and you touch it or taste it, and you make it real, and that's how you manifest things.
Yeah, that's why it's so good in helping people get over toxic relationships that have completely messed their head up, and they don't know the left from the right, and they don't even know what to make for tea because someone's got in their head so much. By them identifying, by clearing that out, all that debris and everything from the relationship recovery, and then seeing themselves in the future, making their own decisions and identifying with that strong part of themselves, then they're able so much quicker and easier to get over everything that they've gone through. I mean, not just with relationships, but with any situation. And that's what I like about these techniques. It's go to the future. You can bring that energy of you from the future back to the now. I mean, you can tell it's like my specialized thing. I absolutely love it, because the results I've seen, people have just, whatever element they want to look at to help them make decisions when they feel stuck, and then when they come back, they're like, I know what I want to do now, and then they start making it happen. There's nothing nicer than seeing someone happy and living the life that they want to live and making those right choices for themselves. And then when the life's, like you say, the chi and the flow, and their life's flowing like that, then it seems to flow a lot easier as well. There's less bumps in the road, there's less things for them to stumble on as they go ahead in the future.
And it's great to have a practitioner like yourself that's passionate about what they do, because that's the best that's the best Sifu, that's the best practitioner to have, someone who's passionate about what they do. Because one of the things a lot of people say, you're so passionate about Qigong, you're so passionate about this, you're so because it's where the love is. It's where, for me, it's that this does this, when you teach people something, like you with this, when you teach people, when you show people what it can do, it removes that doubt, that fear, that worry. It converts. Well, for me, it converts it, because the biggest thing is when you're stuck in it, it's like being stuck in the mud or stuck in a still pond. It'll grow moldy and it gets more and more stagnant, but you start to get that water flowing. And
too many people as well, when they're going through a bad situation, will just turn to go to the doctors and get put on antidepressants and this, that, and the other things. I don't believe in that. There's always the power to heal you within your own mind and your own body. So part of this is, getting that body and mind reconnected again and working together properly. They're not separate anymore. And that's part of the blueprint part of the relationship recovery process as well, is that when you go back to that original you, that body and mind reconnection is so important, not just for that, but for the whole of life. Then you are, properly connected to you, properly connected to the universe, everything. And like you say, bringing it all in, whether you're manifesting it or co-creating it, you are able to go forwards, the way that you want to live your life, rather than staying stuck and thinking that, there's no way out, I can't get out of this. When you can get out of it, I've bounced back, I've gone through a lot myself, like I said, bad relationships on and off all my life, which I now understand why my responses are like they are, so I can understand other people. Things that probably would have I don't know, maybe destroyed other people. That's a bit of a strong word, a couple of years ago. I just think, well, if little old me can find a way through doing all these things, and be where I am now, then, they work, they help people. And, being medicated just rewires your brain wrongly, doesn't it? It stops that mind-body true connection, just delays things. I think it keeps you stuck.
I mean, the thing with the medical profession, I don't know too much into that, but the thing with the medical profession is that they are focused on relieving symptomology, which is a simple way of saying relieving the pain. So you say, oh, I'm feeling really depressed. They'll give you something for the depression. They won't actually look at why you've got the depression to begin with, where so you're dealing with the symptoms, not actually dealing with the original problem. Where here, you're relieving, the blockage is there, and you're finding ways to clear that blockage. And by clearing that blockage, and not only clear the blockage, but also setting up, saying, look, this is what you've got to look forward to. This is your this is the eventual outcome. Because when most people are stuck in that mire, that depression, that fog, as the Chinese love to call
fog,
depression. They're very much the fog is that you can't see. The thing with fog, you can't see. And when you can't see, then you're struggling in the dark. You don't know where to go next. And that's where people are. They're struggling in the dark. So clearing that fog allows you, therefore, to then see where your future is, see the outcomes. And that's the biggest thing. That the irony is not with the medical profession, that medicine, most of these medications, especially certain drugs, make more fog. They make you more clouded. They make you more, they fog you up more, not less. So, it's going for the holistic approach, if you want, to put however you want to say it, but it's finding ways to actually clear that fog. That fog.
To flog that fog.
I like that.
Flog it. Just flog it to death. Get rid of it. You don't need. You just need to clear that fog. That is absolutely true, and you do that by getting in touch with your own unconscious mind, because that's the bit of you that has all the answers. And I think you're just putting yourself, no disrespect, medical profession, I'll probably get shot like one of them holistic doctors in America. I just think that you don't want to be on medication, just keeps you stuck. Not everybody wants to be on that for life, and you need to address things. And if you can address things without reliving things, then you're flicking all those little switches in your mind, and all the lights start coming back on, and then the fog's gone. The way ahead is clear, and you just feel lighter and happier and more focused.
Anybody who's on medication that watches this and they think it's benefiting them, I'm not dare ever say stop medication. If it's working for you, great. No. If it's obviously, if it's not working for you, I still wouldn't say stop taking that medication, but you can still do alternative things. And then what will happen is that your doctors will say, oh, this is not working, or we'll reduce it, or we'll try something else. You have the power at the end of the day. You have to remember that your doctor will tell you certain things, but you still have the power you still have to say yes or no on certain issues and certain things. Now, before we have a question from Lisa. So Lisa Johnson says, do you think you can love a toxic person until your dying day?
You can love anybody till your dying day. It doesn't mean it's a healthy or productive or proper or real love, because you can love anybody. Probably what they gave you is false love, because a toxic person is a toxic person. You can still love toxic people, but I don't think they're going to change unless they go through certain processes of therapy as well. But yeah, you can love anybody till your dying day, whether they're toxic or not. Parents can be toxic. You still love your parents, family members, you still love them. You have to finding a way of dealing with it and dealing with those emotions and feelings. that's what you can do. So yes, you can still, you can still love a toxic person, but it doesn't mean it's healthy or beneficial.
Yeah. My saying would be yes. Like you say, yes, but should you? Should you? Because I mean, there is this thing. The Daoist point of view is before you can help anybody else, you must help yourself. You must heal yourself. You must energize, yourself. Now, there will be people out there, or again, go back to the Celestine prophecies, tend to be interrogators or intimidators that will say, "Oh, healing yourself, that's selfish." They're focusing on yourself, that's selfish. But
if you've got self-love and self-worth, you've got more to give other people and you value yourself more as well. So that is an important thing. It's not selfish. It's not an ego thing. It's important to have that self-love and putting yourself, as first best, because from that point of view, you're operating on a better frequency as well, from a better mindset. So, yeah, it's not selfish at all.
I mean, Lisa did say she, obviously with the person she's talking about, she tried and yeah, I mean, you can, I've had relationships where I tried to make it work, but if it's I don't have it with me. It's the Tai Chi symbol, the yin and yang, the Tai Chi. It's all about balance. In a relationship, that Tai Chi symbol represents both sides, whether you're the same sex or different sexes, whether you're a goat and a unicorn, it doesn't matter. It's all about that balance. It has to be a balanced relationship.
Lisa would be a great person for the relationship recovery, because it's the thing. I see the sad face there. It's like that's what it deals with, those feelings, because you're just confused. It feels wrong to love that person. They treated you badly. This is what like it's on the website as well, the relationship recovery. This is what this specific thing deals with. It's like letting go of all those feelings and emotions. You don't have to experience them. You obviously know it's wrong, and you may still love that person, but by going through these sessions, you can let go. You find a way to let go, and then you feel lighter. And as well with the future life, you can focus on a better, more healthy way of thinking and way of living, and bring back. So slowly, your mindset, well, not slowly, but it can change just by letting go and releasing. And it's like resetting and reconnecting your mind and your body. And like I said before, possibly the trauma bonding cycle began in childhood, so when you're older, those things are still triggered, even though you don't understand why, which is why you might still have love for that toxic person. So there's all manner of things and reasons for it, but it's probably something that you'll never fully understand. So you don't need to understand it, and that's what I work on, is about letting it go. You don't need to understand it. You don't need to feel doubt, shame, guilt, embarrassment, anything like that. You just need to get back to feeling like you again, and that's what I help people to do. So
indeed.
From.
And I mean Matt did do you have a website? Hint, hint. And yes, he does have a website, and the website is on the screen now, www.relationshiprecovery.co.uk. So that is the way that you can find Natalie. And also, let's just see. Lisa then did say thank you, love and light to you both. You're more than welcome.
You, Lisa.
Chi and Chen, back to you, Lisa. I would advise, this woman's got great passion. I would advise, if you've got the opportunity, to actually contact Lisa. Contact Natalie. Lisa, contact Natalie, and and have a session. I think it will be fun. It will definitely help. If there's nothing there to help, in essence, it will still be fun. But I definitely think it would be beneficial.
It would, it definitely would be. I mean, I work on Skype as well, so if people aren't near me, like we're talking now through the computer, I can work like that as well. So people don't have to be, in the same vicinity. I also work in Lincoln as well, in the UK. So, in a lovely place. So yeah, good old Lincoln. So I'm easily found, put it that way.
Yes, Lisa, you're right. She is amazing. I agree with you entirely. She's going to blush now, but
Yeah,
yes, she is. She is. So right, okay. So guys, if you have any questions, now is the time, because otherwise I will wrap up. Natalie, is there anything else? I mean, I already said this once, so this is like I feel like in an auction house now, going once, going twice. Is there anything else you'd like to say before I hit the hammer down? I've got to find the hammer to hit.
I can't think of anything. But it's been really good to talk to you, and yeah, I've really enjoyed this. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you're interested, I'd love to have you on again. I know this was a bit of a out of the blue, but if you'd like to come on in the future, I'd love to have you on again.
I'd love to do that.
People watching this now or in the future, if you would like, Natalie to come on again because you've got more questions to ask, hound me, right? Put some comments down here or wherever you're seeing this, because I think we shared it in about 300 billion different places. Wherever you're seeing this, if you would like to see Natalie again in the future and ask more, there's questions you think I haven't asked because I've missed something, then let us know and we'll bring Natalie on again. I mean, I'd love to have Natalie on again anyway. Well, I mean, we've had you as a guest. I mean, we'd also do on Sundays in the future will be more about subjects. So we could do a show on toxic relationships. So if you're about in the future, I don't know when that is, but you could look it up.
I'll have a look. I'll have a look and I'll let you know.
Yeah,
I'll let you know. Yeah.
Okay. But we could actually do a subject show, so we have you and other co-hosts, so you'll become a co-host and we can all sort of intermingle and talk about the show. So I think that's actually a plan. I think I quite like that idea. I mean, maybe hint. I know she'll see this at some point. Anne, wonderful Anne. Well, I think you'd be really good for that one, Anne. A subject show on toxic relationships or future life progression as well. So yes. Anyway, I digress. I ramble. Surprise, surprise. So, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Natalie. I hope guys, let's just very, very quickly put it up again. So it's www.relationshiprecovery.co.uk is Natalie's website. Please go and have a look. I'm sure you will find it.
And very helpful, yes.
Indeed. So our next show, actually, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think the next show is on Friday with. I can't find it in a second. But the next show is on. I know we've got a show next Friday with Breezy Love, and her. Oh, there goes the camera going all blurred again. Breezy Love, and we'll be talking about bringing love into your life and enhancing relationships. And another way of enhancing relationships. So Breezy Love next Friday. I think it's at 7:30. The link will be up shortly, and then next Sunday is Roberta Godson and her show. Now Robbie, as I know her, Robbie too. She has been on the show before, and she's coming on the show again. She'll be on the 7:30 next Sunday. And like I said, before that on Friday will be Breezy Love. Breezy Love will be coming on the show. So I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I have immensely. Thank you very much, Natalie. Don't go just yet, but we will shut off for everybody else. So guys, take care. Hope you all enjoyed it. See you again soon. Contact Natalie. If I think it's a good thing to contact Natalie, go on, I dare you. So contact Natalie, go and speak to her. Take care. Bye for now. Love, Chi, and Shen, Sifu, Boggie, Natalie, and the way of